Happy New Year to you. Are you doing well? 2024 was a great year for AFC Bournemouth, but can we start 2025 with a bang? We're exactly halfway through the season. We've got 30 points on the board, and now it's time to do those reverse 19 fixtures. But will Andoni Iraola have a headache ahead of our next opponents? We face Everton, and yet they're a side that have never won a league game at Dean Court. But Andoni, he's short of players, and some of the more recent showings from the Toffees may give him cause for concern. But Everton fans, they're pessimistic, as Sean Dyche's side have just won one in their last 6, and against Bournemouth, more often than not, they've had a torrid time. It's time to talk about it. Welcome to the Big Match Preview. This is Back of the Net. My name's Sam Davis.
My name's Tom Jordan.
The last time we played them here, it was an act of self-sabotage from Everton. They got themselves back into it, only for Seamus Coleman to score an oggie, and Bournemouth emerged with the points. But look, we cannot not show you the last time we played them right, and that was at their place, and God, it was brilliant.
Oh.
2-0 down to 3-2 up. Have there ever been madder scenes that you've experienced in football, Tom?
I don't think so. It was more the context of the game as well. It's not just you're 2-0 down and you score 3 late goals, which is remarkable in itself. We were absolutely terrible for 85 minutes. And then we skanked the goal. And I remember, you always say it to me, I didn't really I just kind of stayed on my seat and clapped. Yeah. Otherwise, it was a little consolation. And then it just swung. It was remarkable. It really was. And yeah, I thought, again, at Goodison, we've not turned up. We were awful the year prior. At Goodison, I think we lost 3-0, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I thought it's happening again. And yeah, absolutely remarkable scenes, mate. And as you said, I'm sure we'll come on to it a little bit more and the way Everton play, etc., etc. But if you actually look at the context of the games, I think Andoni's always struggled against Everton. That game, we were awful for 85 minutes. We lost 3-0 the first time he went there. And then the home game, as you just alluded to, was a freak goal from them, own goal from them, that won us the game. So, yeah, he might be looking to tweak a few things because we've not been dominant against Everton since he's come in.
That's true. Well, after our point at Craven Cottage, Cherries have equalled last season's 7-game unbeaten run, and it equals the best unbeaten run by the Cherries in this league. Can we improve on it? Let's check out the league table. AFC Bournemouth in 7th place. Why do you hate it, Tom?
Because all we need to do is go at home to Everton, who are struggling. We just don't lose that and we've got the best run ever. God, it's 1-0 cover, Lewin.
And look, they are 2 points ahead of Ipswich, who are sat in the drop zone. But look, we're looking good in 7th place. I tell you what, this is going to be a tricky one, but it could be AFC Bournemouth's first double of the season, of course, and it would be nice to set some new records. The form table also looks good for AFC Bournemouth. Let's check it out. As you can see, we are in 5th place. This is taking a look at the last 6. Everton, well, they are in mid-table obscurity, in 13th place.
Where's Southampton?
Where's Southampton?
Yeah.
Bottom of the league.
Oh, okay.
Stop going on about them. It's almost like you're trying to force a rivalry.
I know, right?
But
Pompey done well the other night.
They did, 4-0, superb. But since our game against Everton, on their travels, they've only won 1 game away, and that was against Ipswich. So they're going to be wanting to change that record, aren't they? As you can see, we're at the QP, the home of AFC Bournemouth fans, on a match day, and it's always a good place to be pre-match, but also post-match too, because Tom, they do this thing where you buy one of those,
lovely,
you get a little raffle ticket.
You do.
If you come back afterwards, accumulate all your tickets and all the drinks that you've bought, first prize, 100 quid.
Ooh, lovely.
Second prize, 50 quid.
Not bad to celebrate a win with that, is it?
Yeah,
Ooh,
fingers crossed we do get the 3 points. So yeah, make sure you get to the QP before the game. And look, we're in the courtroom. This is your room, the fans' room, and it's available to hire. So look, details are at the bottom of the screen. Contact Joe. There's an email address and phone number. If you ever want to use this room for your own purposes, a private event, function, reception, whatever you want to do, get in touch, because it's free if you're a subscriber to Back of the Net, and it's always worth coming on a Sunday for some munch in it.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah, good roast there. Had some good reviews on the roast. So yeah, definitely get involved in that.
And you know what, right? Some pubs you go to, like have a roast dinner, it's like 16, 17 quid.
Yeah, it is.
Here, £10. Not for you though, Tom.
Nah, 9.
9. Because he's a season ticket holder. Show your card, you get £1 off. And look, later on in the show as well, we are going to let you have the opportunity to win a roast dinner plus drink for 4 people. How's about those apples? Stay tuned. We'll be asking for your predictions at the end. If you're brand new here, there's a couple of things you do to really help us out if you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Click the like button, of course, and the bell will tell you when all the videos are out. And then, hit the big fat subscribe button. That's the most important one. So, keep doing that for us, please.
It'd be great. So, Everton, look, we've done a preview show already, so we know most of their transfer business. We're not going to go over that again, but you can click the card at the top of the screen if you wanted to re-watch that preview. But we've seen the league table. We've seen they're not doing overly well off the pitch.
Yeah.
The takeover's gone through, it seems, so they're in a certainly brighter place than they were.
Yeah, it's a weird one with Everton. If you had said, where do you think they'll be by the time we play them again in 2025, I'd have said probably just above relegation, where they're not very happy, they're not doing very well, but they're probably going to stay up. And that is what rinse and repeat, isn't it? So it must be frustrating for them, but from their perspective, maybe it is a case of, look, let's just make sure in this league, new stadium coming, new ownership, and let's try and kick on from there, because they're not suddenly going to go on a run and get into Europe or anything. So, yeah, like I say every season, I think they'll just stay up again. I think they've got enough. But yeah, form-wise, consistently inconsistent as always.
There's 3 top-flight stadiums in Merseyside at the moment. You've got Goodison Park, which is Everton's, like Anfield, where Everton played first, and of course, Bramley Moor Dock, and I cannot wait to go there because it just looks like a stadium that's going to generate some noise. I think they've checked the regulations and they've gone the steepest gradient that they could possibly go. And it looks amazing that what they've done to that area looks absolutely superb. But is it superb on the pitch? We're going to take a look at some of their last results, starting at the start of December, where they had a pretty torrid time against Manchester United.
Yeah, they got slapped to Man United, which is... Normally you'd go, well, it's Man United, isn't it? But it is Man United, so that was a worry. But fair play to them, backed it up. Went back at home, and just smashed up little Wolves 4-0. But, look at the context of the league table. It's a hell of a result. But Wolves were obviously in a difficult place at that point, and they seem to have turned a corner for whatever reason. Then they done well against Liverpool because it was postponed.
Yeah, but you know what? I fancied them to take their form into that, because they always seem to do relatively well against Liverpool.
Like you say, they're always competitive, and after a 4-0 win, probably not a better time to play them. And then it's weird because you go, well, they didn't win the next 3. Yeah, but they're all good results. Yeah. They went to the Emirates and drew 0-0. I mean, we beat Arsenal, but that's a good point. Yeah. Drawn against Chelsea again 0-0, showing kind of what they're about against the big teams and what Dyche is about against the big teams. And then they drew with Man City, which, some of us beat them, but decent point. That was the game where everyone thought, right, City will kick on now.
Yeah.
And Everton proved them wrong. So you think, that's shown what they can do against the big boys. Now play a team in form, and they got beat quite comfortably to Nottingham Forest, who are a joke at the moment. So, yes, it's hard to judge because you look at it and go, well, maybe against the top teams, they're very good at getting something. And against the lesser teams, they're not. Are we a lesser team or are we a top team? That's for you to decide.
Yeah, maybe it is. So, yeah, they've won just one of their last 10 Premier League matches, as we saw against, at the time, Gary O'Neill's Wolves. Meanwhile, they have failed to score in a league-high 10 different Premier League matches this season. There are so many interesting variables that we'll go through on this preview that make me a little bit concerned about this. I'll tell you what, though, our head-to-head is not one of them, though, because they've never won a league match at Dean Court, but they did beat us in the League Cup or something.
I was just about to say, I remember a cup game. No, I remember a cup game fairly recently. Yeah. When I say fairly recently, it was with Eddie Howe in the Prem. I can't remember I'm sure that was 2-0. Yeah, 2016, there it is.
In the FA Cup.
Because, I don't know if you remember, Charlie Daniels missed a penalty at 0-0. Do you remember that?
No, I do not remember that.
So it was when we had that spell when, didn't he score at West Brom and suddenly Daniels was on penalties out of nowhere. Got a feeling did he just smash it against the bar? I can't remember exactly. But
or was it over the bar?
Might have been, but he missed. And I remember Juan Turbe played that game.
My God.
But yeah, we lost that one. That was when he had Lukaku. He used to always cause us problems. But yeah, apart from that, it's always been until this season that we struggled at Goodison, but we always beat him here. So, hopefully that hasn't now switched round.
In all our home league games against Everton, Bournemouth have won 5, drawn 2, lost 0. In all competitions against Everton, Bournemouth have won 8, drawn 2, lost 10. Now, we know the fact that they've never won at AFC Bournemouth, but I don't know. I've got a funny feeling about this one. Later on, we're going to take a look at the average positions, which show you the way they set up against certain sides and how strange it is and how we may be struggling to break them down. Andoni Iraola, we said at the start of the show, has got some headaches.
Yeah.
Because he's got to work out how to play against a team that may be low block, but also who have we got available, Tom? Because we've still got a huge list. And look, no one is talking about our injury crisis, which is credit to us, really.
Massive credit to us. Every time someone else falters, it seems to be because of all the injuries they've got. Because we're not faltering too much. No one's talking about it, but we've got so many players out. Obviously, remains to be seen on Tyler Adams. At least Clivert will be back after a suspension.
Yeah.
But Alex Scott's still out. Julian Araujo's still out, Marcos Senesi's still out, Marcus Tavernier's still out, Luis Sinisterra, if he's still here, is still out, and Adam Smith as well. Not sure what's going on there. So yeah, we have got quite a few out at the moment, and a few niggles here and there as well that you're never sure about. So yeah, it's testing time for him. But I guess if you're ever going to have a little bit of an injury crisis, it's probably better to do it in January when there is an opportunity to maybe bring some bodies in, bring some bodies back that are out on loan, etc. So, I know they've got a few as well, to be fair. I think Coleman's probably not going to be available. Having said that, he doesn't always start anywhere. Same with like Irabunan, who's been out for a bit. But James Garner's a big loss, and Dwight McNeil's the one that I think he's getting close, but I might come too soon for him. He could be back on the bench potentially, I think.
I was looking at Kelsey Bowser's Instagram the other day, mate. I mean, who doesn't, right? Jesus. But she posted a story or a Facebook thing or something.
Did she? I didn't see it.
New Year, it looked like it was in the Ivy. Whether it's in the Ivy in Bournemouth, I don't quite know. But Marcus Senesi was there, a couple of players for the women's team, including Kelsey, of course, and also Julian Araujo as well. Yeah. And it looked like Julian Araujo at one point was doing the conga.
Oh, hello.
So, is he coming back into fitness?
There is a few that we obviously haven't really heard. We've just heard they're not available. But if you go all the way back to when Araujo and Alex Scott as well were injured, it was around this time they said they'll start coming back. So potentially, but we haven't heard too much yet. So we'll have to wait and see. But I don't think Taven Smithy and Adams are quite as serious. So hopefully they'll be back soon.
Do you want to know who the referee is?
Couldn't give a...
Okay. Right. Played for both. No, we're going to say the referee. It's John Brooks. He took our game away at Brighton and our home against Liverpool last season.
Lovely.
Right, play for both then. I've got a list that you can see on screen.
You managed to get an 11?
I managed to get an 11 somehow, and we're going to go through them now in their rough positions. Okay, so let's do this. From the keeper then. Who's the goalkeeper?
Asmir Begovic.
Correct. Okay, we've got a back three here.
So I've literally only got Sylvain Distin. Jason Pearce didn't play for him. You got JP. Joe Partington didn't play for him, did he?
No, not Joe Partington.
Oh, that means it's close. Joe something?
Joe Parkinson.
Don't have a clue who that is. JG. Is that old? Is he old?
Jimmy Gabriel. Have you heard of him?
No. Did you just make him up?
He passed away a few years ago. Top player for AFC Bournemouth back in the day. Right, wing backs.
And not wing backs, because I've realised who they are.
I know, but it's the only thing I could do. I'll tell you what, there's a lot of midfield and attackers that played for both, but come on.
So in this kind of, just all out attack, we're going Arnold Danjuma.
We are.
And another one that sadly passed away, Christian Atsu.
Yeah.
As wing backs. I definitely know that's Dan Gosling.
Yeah.
In midfield. And BV. Definitely know BV.
Do you?
So I went to... I remember going to Oldham away, right?
Right.
They were top of the league, and we were in the relegation zone.
Yeah.
We were absolutely rubbish at that point. There was 82 away fans there. I was one of them. I remember getting there, it was freezing, 1-2-1, but Bjarni Villarsson got on the score sheet with Dave McGoldrick, actually.
Super.
WA.
A little bit old school, but you'd certainly know the name in the 90s.
The only one I can think of WA is Warren Aspinall.
Correct.
Oh, did he play for him? Josh King.
Yeah.
And... Josh King and... Should I know him?
MS, yeah, you should.
Oh, Michael Symes?
Michael Symes.
Was he there as like a youngster or something?
Yeah, Michael Symes. Super.
Yeah, that's not too bad. Yeah, it's more than I thought. In my head, I thought we hadn't got many, but there's a few in there, isn't there? But quite top heavy. But this stat is still out at the back.
So now we'll take a look at Everton's last 4 games, thanks to Matt on the Vitals Forum. Bit concerned this could be quite similar to the Palace game and West Ham game that we had set up for a low block maybe, but the last 4, a tough set. Playing 3 of the top 4 and Manchester City, which is a mad thing to say. 2 home games, Chelsea and Forest. 2 away games, Arsenal and Man City. Everton gained 3 points through 3 draws, although were notably the worst team in every game, barring Chelsea. Now, these average positions that I'm showing now, Tom, concerns me. The games have been pretty difficult, and as you can see, Arsenal understandable, Chelsea understandable, Man City understandable, but against Nottingham Forest at home they're visibly a lot more advanced. So what are we? Are we a Forest or are we a Man City? Because I don't know what they're going to do here.
No, I agree. It's a difficult one because I do think that most Everton fans would take a point, which is a concern. And I know a lot of people say, I don't like to say told you so, but I quite like it actually. I quite like saying I told you so to people. And I don't know how long I've got to go back when I say to Bournemouth fans, stop looking at it on paper. Everyone goes, well, we're not going to beat Arsenal, beat them. We're not going to beat City, beat them. And then they go, right, we'll easily beat Palace. We'll easily beat West Ham. We'll easily beat Everton. And I always say, I said it.
I know.
I said we'd smash Man United and we wouldn't beat Palace. All right, so told you so. This is a harder game than Man United by a million miles. Stop playing the name. And Everton at home is another one that concerns me for that very reason. I think they don't want the ball. They won't want the ball. And I do think it depends how they are when they try and nick something. So I think Ndai, for example, is very underrated. I'm hoping McNeil isn't available because I thought he caused loads of problems at their place. But if he is, he's obviously not 100%. And it depends on players, whether it be Beto or Calvert-Lewin or Brozier, whether they can get on the end of things. Because I think we'll have all the ball. The problem we're having at the moment is when we have all the ball, it's trying to get in behind, and we like that space of counter-attacking. And it might be a game for Semenyo might suddenly beat a few men and smash them in the top corner after 2 minutes, and suddenly we'll be settled. Yeah. The problem against both West Ham and Palace is that we couldn't score early, and that just the more the game goes on, the more they're comfortable. I think if we can get a really fast start, because I think this is not trying to be disrespectful to O'Neill, even though it's a laugh. When we went to their place, I thought, this could be one of them sort of games. We scored so early.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. And
we got quite a few goals, and suddenly it just settles because they have to come out there, and there's no point in losing 1-0. So, I think the start of the game is going to be really key. I think weirdly, because of the injuries, someone like a Brooksy might actually flourish in a game like this, because it's not for your counter-attacking, it's more for your players that can find that pass. And these are the only sort of games I think I appreciate why a lot of people have said is Alex Scott, for example, going to work for Bournemouth and the way we play. These are the type of games where I'd quite like him available. Yeah. Because yes, Christie gives you what Christie gives you, but sometimes I think, could do with a little bit of something from a Scotty. But we've got James Elliott right back now, playing them little passes.
We'll be fine.
But it will be. But I'm actually intrigued to go. I said it earlier in the show. Really, if you look at the 3 games and actually look at them, the eye test, we struggled in every game against Everton with Andoni. And I kind of like the fact that I go, right, he's going to know that, obviously. See what he's maybe changes a little bit in game and see if we can, because if we go and beat Everton really comfortably, you go, bloody hell, now we've sorted that side of us out, potentially. And then you're going, will we ever lose? But no, I think it's a test that we need to start. We draw, 0-0 against Everton at home. We're all going to start going, okay, Everton could do that to you, but we need to stop doing this if we want to, get to the point that we want to get to.
Well, AFC Bournemouth have got significantly better attacking stats, which will be music to your ears. We've got more goal attempts per game, more big chances, and scored more goals. Defensively, the two sides are posting quite similar stats, apart from big chances conceded, where Everton have conceded more. AFC Bournemouth have got more XG, but the XGC is very similar between the sides. Everton have had one error leading to chances, whilst AFC Bournemouth have 4. It seems that Everton, they've got fewer big chances than any other side in the Premier League this season with 27, whilst their shot conversion rate, which is 7.3%, is their lowest on record in a single campaign in the competition since 1997-98 season. They have scored, worryingly, a league high 6 Premier League goals from free kick situations in the Premier League this season. So do not concede a free kick on the edge of the box like we did against Fulham, because chances are they might convert it.
I'm trying to remember the one at their place that Michael Keane scored. Was that a corner or a free kick? It was definitely a set piece, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
That he managed to bundle in. But that's something, like you say, we conceded, for any Everton fans, listen, we did at Fulham, because we've been good at it all season. We conceded 2 headers from crosses.
Well, they've got an overall league high. 53% of their goals have come from set pieces this season.
So that's something that we'll have to look at. Sometimes I quite like it in a weird way when you just conceded 2 headed goals. You think that should be in the players' minds a little bit. But I think a Sean Dyche team is always pretty decent at set pieces, aren't they? You would have thought.
They are 35% possession on average. We're going to have a lot of the ball. We don't want the ball.
Who was the other team that had an average of around that come to our place recently?
Palace.
Crystal Palace. And we struggled to break them down. So, it's definitely one that we've got, we've got to find a way. Like I said, mate, it's going to be that similar. But we've had that, and I'm sure Andoni will be saying it probably will be a similar game to that, and we couldn't quite do it. So what are we going to do differently? And I'm quite looking forward to seeing how we try and tweak a few bits.
Well, let's go for the predicted teams then and see what Andoni's going to do, because Tom speaks to him regularly. All right, AFCB then. 4-2-3-1. What's it going to be?
Kepa will be in goal. Get me an El Marino, I'm sure. He's had a few clean sheets in recent time, so hopefully he keeps up his form. Regardless of what happens with Smithy's fitness, I think James Hill's got the shirt at right back.
Did really well.
Zabani and Howson for sure, and Kirkez at left back. Adams could potentially be back, but I'm going to stick with Cookie and Christie. Cookie come through that game with no yellow, which was good. I do think, and it's no real disrespect to Billing, but I do think Clivert's going to come back in that kind of number 10 role. There's a shout to say Dango, but I always think he's better off the bench.
Well, the stats and everything, everything shows that.
Yeah, everything shows that he's better off the bench. So I'm going to stick with Semenyo and Brooks. I'd quite like to see Semenyo off that left and Brooks off the right, particularly because they're 2 options at right back. Patterson could play, but potentially could be 39-year-old Ashley Young or 30 whatever old Seamus Coleman. So I'd like to see Semenyo running at them.
Isn't there a chance that he might play against his lad in the FA Cup?
Yes, that's true. There is something on that. I have heard that. And obviously the main man Evan Nilsson will lead the line, I'm sure.
Okay, on for Everton then. So 4-3-3 almost. What are we going with?
Jordan Pickford will be in goal, I'm sure. I'm going to stick with Ashley Young at right back. Tarkovsky and Bramthwaite are actually pretty decent centre-half there. And Mikolenko will obviously be, I'm sure we'll have a little hello to Zabani. I think they're friends, but he'll be at left back. I'm going to go Gehi, Mangala and Decore, which is quite an industrious midfield 3. And as I say, I'm thinking that McNeil won't quite make the starting lineup. So I'm going to go with Jack Harrison and Ndai off the sides. And I'm going to bring Calvert-Lewin back in. They went with Broja in the last game. They've gone with Beto before, because Calvert-Lewin just doesn't seem to be in the form that he has previously. But you've got to play him into that. And I think when you've got 3 strikers and none of them are really on it, you kind of keep rotating, waiting for one of them to score. So, I'm going to go Calvert-Lewin.
So we need to make some predictions for this. We'll go first, then we'll come to you. There's some, we did some weird stats in the last preview show about the last game of the calendar year. Got some interesting ones about the first game of the calendar year.
Go on.
Bournemouth have won their first league game in just one of the last 12 calendar years. That was a 1-0 against Stoke City. That was in 2021. What about Everton, though? Everton have lost their first league game in 6 of the last 7 calendar years. This is going to be a skanky 0-0, right? And then we'll score late, because we always score late. That's what's going to happen. But yeah, it's quite concerning. What are you thinking, Tom?
I'm thinking very similar, like we've said enough in this show, very similar to kind of the Palace at home game in my thoughts. But I think that we'll learn from it a little bit. And I think we'll just have enough. I don't think they'll offer quite as much of a threat as Palace do. I know Palace didn't in the game, but when you're worrying, and no disrespect to Everton, but when you're worrying about a big Mateta, Eze, Sarr, I don't think they're quite to that level. So I think we take a few more risks. But it depends what bodies come back. But I think we're going to nick it. I'm going to go for a 1-0 Bournemouth, Evan Nilsson.
I was going to go for that, but I'm going to change my tune now, because I think it's going to be 2-0. I think Evan Nilsson will score, and I think Ryan Christie
we keep doing it,
is going to score.
Come on, Ryan.
As well for AFC Bournemouth.
Yeah.
And look, there may be a late goal, because we know that we like them. What's your prediction? Well, we don't want only that. We want the minute of the first AFC Bournemouth goal as well, because we're going to score right.
What?
Because what you can do is, if you get the score right and you are the closest to the minute, you can win a roast dinner plus drink for 4 people at the QP. That's certainly worth doing. So make sure you put it in the comments now, and we will read every single one. We're just going to do this one on YouTube, because our Twitter at the moment is going nuts. So many notifications, but there's good reason. Fair play to the Bournemouth fans, by the way.
Yeah, brilliant.
We're going to the darts at Ali Pali, watching the quarterfinals. They were just about to go in. They had a spare ticket. They didn't want to resell it, but they came across this guy who was homeless.
Yeah.
And they basically said, look, do you want to come to the darts with us? They paid for his night.
Yeah.
They got him a Travelodge for the night as well.
Yeah.
And Craig and all the AFC Bournemouth lot that went up, fair play to you, because we just tweeted about it. It's going nuts at the moment. So how are we going to see your score predictions in amongst the constant retweets and reposts and likes?
No, it's a lovely story. And you always see some brilliant, humorous kind of signs and things from the darts, don't you? I think I saw Justice for Duran, because obviously he's got a 3-game ban or whatever. There were some great ones. There was something about Ryan Fraser at one point, I believe, as well. But to hear a story like that was brilliant, and it was a bloody good. I love the darts, and it was a great quarterfinals night as well. Yeah. So they got to see some good darts. So that was really nice to see, mate. And yeah, listen, I can see you're thinking you were thinking 1-0 like me, going 2-0. I'm hoping we'll just have an edge on them. Yeah, we did last time, just have an edge. We did the time before. So, yeah, I'm hoping we just have enough, mate. And I'm hoping that there's maybe a few surprises soon in terms of some bodies coming back for us, because there's a few we haven't had a lot about. And I just think, we're having so many youth players on the bench, which is great for them and brilliant to see Winterburn come on in the last game. But we just need a little bit more, don't we? Yeah. A little bit more strength, or maybe some silence. Maybe, come on, Bill. I mean, Bill hasn't done enough for us, has he?
Well, hopefully Bournemouth can chew up the toffees and spit them out. I got it right that time. Unlike the first time, do you remember?
What did you do the first time?
We play Everton at Goodison Park. Leeds and Leicester are hoping we can do them a favour. The Toffees, though, they're going to hope to spit us up and chew us out. What's the word?
Chew us out and spit us out.
I'm no good at that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Much appreciated. Up the chairs, and we'll see you in the next one. Come on.
Chairs. I'm trying to do a pun and I can't think of one, so just cut it there.
Okay.